Before I get into today's theory, I want to go ahead and quickly take some time at the beginning here to go and promote my Fairy Tale Amino account. Over the past month or so, I've gotten so many comments asking if I have a Fairy Tale Amino account, and I finally do have one. So if you guys have Fairy Tale Amino, go ahead, follow my account, Senpai Fruit. Within the recent chapters of Fairy Tail, we've seen Natsu essentially be forced out of action within the Alvarez War, seeing as his so-called tumor has actually made a reappearance thanks to Brandish. Now, initially we saw this tumor strike Natsu right after a small fight with Zeref, and Brandish was actually able to shrink the tumor and allow Natsu to go back into the Alvarez War and fight. But with the recent chapters of Fairy Tail and what's been taking place within them, I, along with a lot of people, are beginning to question if this so-called tumor is actually a tumor. Now, one of the things that was actually presented to us within the last chapter of Fairy Tail was the fact that poor Loshia actually misdiagnosed Natsu's tumor, and that the so-called tumor was an anti-ether nano. Now, this has caused a lot of people to question what Natsu's so-called tumor actually is. Now, personally, I do believe that's Hero's way of, I guess, building up to the inevitable revelation of E.N.D, and that the tumor actually, in a way, represents E.N.D. Let's go and take a quick look at Natsu's encounter with Zeref. Now, this so-called tumor had never really made any appearance whatsoever within Natsu's life prior to this fight, and then right after his encounter with Zeref, we see Happy crying and Natsu passed out at the guild. So we have to ask, what exactly happened during this time frame? Personally, I do believe that Natsu's tumor was actually caused by Zeref damaging the book of E.N.D. Now, we essentially see Zeref actually shoot a beam through the book, followed with Natsu grabbing at his chest in pain and agony. Now, this actually happens to be the same place that Natsu grabs towards when Brandish re-enlarges his so-called tumor. So with this information, we can almost guarantee the fact that Natsu's tumor was somehow caused by Zeref causing damage to the book of E.N.D. So what does this mean exactly? Well, we now essentially know that the tumor is somehow linked to the book of E.N.D. and what Zeref did to damage the book of E.N.D. Now with this, I'm actually questioning if it's possible that Zeref put into action Natsu's inevitable E.N.D. transformation through damaging the book of E.N.D. It's almost obvious that the tumor is somehow related to E.N.D., especially with poor Loshia misdiagnosing the tumor and even making a comment about it being anti-ether nano. Now, I have an idea as to what could have taken place when Zeref actually caused damage to the book of E.N.D. Now, we're all aware of the fact that the book of E.N.D. has a seal on it, and considering the fact that Zeref actually created the book of E.N.D. and essentially created Natsu, it would make sense that he'd be knowledgeable when it comes to releasing the seal and essentially releasing E.N.D. So I believe that in this moment, Zeref actually saw his opportunity to release E.N.D. and have E.N.D. actually take him out for good. So Zeref could have actually shot the book and broken the seal to E.N.D. But it's possible that Zeref wasn't expecting the fact that the transformation would take place over a long period of time, so he could have simply activated Natsu's E.N.D. transformation, and in the future we will see Natsu's E.N.D. transformation take full effect. All in all, though, I do believe that Natsu's so-called tumor is E.N.D. Nevertheless, that's going to do it for today's video. Do you guys believe that Natsu's tumor is somehow attached to E.N.D? Like this video to show your support. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace.